74, and happy Halloween, everyone. This is our yearly Halloween episode, and we're gonna cover the fifth installment in the Halloween franchise, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Um, Together with me here, I got Zombie,
Hello.
and the rest of the crew is missing in action.
Yeah, they all went simultaneously into war.
Yeah.
Became their own unit and everything.
Yeah, exactly. No, but life is happening for both Oge and Egil, so hopefully they're back on the next episode. How are you doing today, Somi?
A bit tired, but otherwise I am doing very well.
Mm. Mm.
How about you?
It's been a long fucking week, you know?
Yeah.
It's been really stressful at work, and I missed out on a lot of sleep, so you know, I'm on the reserve at the moment.
Yeah, I feel like I'm
Um,
gonna be that very soon.
yeah, we should rename the podcast to like near sleep podcast or something because everyone is fucking tired each time we're recording.
Yeah, like we are just the tired crew.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, Halloween 5. In a little bit. Have you catched anything? It's only been like a week since we last recorded, so
Yeah, and I haven't really watched anything other than
the
Halloween 5.
yeah, the main event.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I've catched not that much, but a couple of things. Me and Angel went to the theater after the day after we recorded the
Yeah.
Event Horizon episode and watched the sequel to Venom, the anti slash superhero flick from 2018, Venom Let There Be Carnage.
Yeah.
I won't go into the plot, but I can say that this movie. I've read online that there are a lot of people complaining about the movie being dumb and um lacking a deep plot. But I mean, come the fuck on! It's about aliens that uh, not not possesses, but they assimilate with humans and becomes monsters and
Yeah.
shit. And well, the title says it all. Let there be carnage, because there are fuck ton of carnage in Venom 2. Um,
And I feel like
then
I
yeah,
have not seen the movie, but like it lacking a deeper meaning. Like, did the first one have that much of a deep meaning for this one to lack it? Like what?
no.
Yeah,
The first one is a bombastic, loud, explosive action movie, and
yeah,
this one ups the action even more. Um, and you know, in this one they've already done the origin story of Venom in the first one, so they can just cut the bullshit and get into the action basically straight away.
in full Marvel fashion.
Yeah, but the problem with today's superhero movies is that people expect them to be like 3 hours long and have deep um, storylines in them and
Yeah,
plot points and you know.
yeah.
Uh,
I feel like that is also part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that
mm,
or like everything is tied together. If you watch one movie, you'll see like a few people or a few clips from another movie
Yeah.
and everything. And this is the one of the movie series that isn't part of that, and because it's still made by Marvel, they have like this expectation that it will be
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the cinematic universe, while this is
Yeah.
more on the lax side. It is more for fun in a way.
It's yeah. It's sort of the um. It's sort of like the Punisher movies. That the character Punisher is in the Marvel universe, but the older movies, well, all of them really, besides the Netflix series, doesn't take place in the Marvel universe. It's
Yeah.
just standalone movies. Uh, but with that being said, I think there will most likely be a third one.
Yeah.
It's Marvel. Um, but with everything being said, if there will be a third one, I think it will be the connecting movie to the Marvel universe without spoiling
Mm.
anything. But yeah, two thumbs up. This was a childhood dream coming through for me.
Yeah.
I Ever since I saw Carnage and Venom in the animated Spider-Man TV series when I was a
Mm.
kid back in the 90s, I wished that there would be a Venom Carnage live action movie, and well, here we are.
Your dreams
So
come
yeah,
true.
yeah. So two thumbs up for that movie. It actually might be the movie of the year for me.
Yeah.
I really loved this one. It was a shit ton of fun and a lot of action, and Venom gets more of a character in this one.
Mm.
He's more developed.
Yeah. I think the first
Uh,
one develops more the relationship Venom and Eddie have together, and now
yeah,
because this is pre-established in the second one, they can more focus on the
yeah,
individuals
yeah,
that
exactly.
makes the pair.
Yeah,
And
but
like
yeah, like I said, two thumbs up. Highly recommending it.
what I know about the movie is that the critics hate it, and that by
Mm.
default makes me know that it's most likely gonna be a good movie.
If you enjoyed the first one, you will enjoy this one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like out of all the Spider-Man villains that he has had, Venom is certainly one of my favorites.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Uh, and Carnage, of course.
Mm.
Um, but after that, I sat down and watched. Well, it was like 2 or 3 days after we went to the theater. I sat down and watched 1992's Body Puzzle,
Ooh.
which is a Lamberto Bava movie. Um, Lamberto Bava is the son of Mario Bava, who is basically, or well, he was because he's dead. He was the godfather of the Giallo,
Oh.
which is sort of prototype slashers, but with police investigation uh, ingredients
Yeah.
mixed into the formula, and instead of masked killers stalking teenagers, it's about the whole genre is basically about black gloved wearing killers murdering rich people, sort of. But Body Puzzle is a late giallo from 1992. I don't know if you could say it's a straight up giallo. It's it feels more like it's a giallo which treads the slasher movie genre, sorta.
Mm.
But at the same time, it tries to be a straight up thriller. But yeah, the plot in the movie is basically that a demented serial killer is starting to bump off people left and right, and he mutilates them and leaves the body parts at a widow's mansion. And the widow is played by Joanna Pacula. Pacula. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Um, but she appeared 7 years later in the movie Virus, which is a sci-fi horror movie with Donald Sutherland and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh.
And I think that's one movie we need to cover at some point.
Most like we are.
Yeah, I think you guys would like it. But yeah, Body Puzzle. Lamberto Bava has done a bunch of movies during the 80s. He was very prolific in the Italian horror movie genre during that time. And he has done giallos before this one. Amongst them are A Blade in the Dark, You'll Die at Midnight, and Delirium. And out of these four movies, I think this is the one I like the least. With that being said, it's an okay thriller, but it gets slow at parts, and it's not as outlandishly stupid and ridiculous as the other three movies. Even though it got some what the fuck moments. For example, towards the end of the movie, there's a car chase, and they sped up the film stock, so it looks like they're like driving in 300 miles per hour or something. It looks fucking ridiculous. And another great scene in the film is that the killer is hiding in a freeze box just in case if someone passes by, you know.
Yeah, just in case, the usual.
Yeah. So it got some what the fuck moments, which is kind of why you want to watch these type of films.
Yeah.
But it didn't have enough for me to really enjoy the film. It's a middle ground type of movie.
Mm.
Not bad, but not very good either. I would rather sit down and rewatch like Delirium or something. Delirium is really entertaining. Or I would rather rewatch his Demons or Demons 2,
Mm.
which are two of the best Italian horror movies ever made, in my opinion. I really love those.
Nice.
Um,
Yeah, it's a
Moving
fine
on.
balance of
Yeah.
finding the right amount of what the fuck to make a movie work. If you want to have such moments,
Yeah.
you have to go full. You have to really dedicate and go full in on that.
Moving on from that,
Yes.
I've talked about the Chucky TV series in like the last two episodes, I think.
Yep.
So I sat down with Tagger, actually,
Ooh, nice.
and we watched the three first episodes. There's gonna be 10 episodes in the first season. I don't know if they're gonna renew the series or not for second season, but the first season will be 10 episodes.
Mm.
And both me and Tagger fucking loved it. It's so brilliant. The plot is about this teenage guy who well, I kind of guess he's gay. That they are like mocking him in the first episode. Like everyone, everyone says that he's gay, but he doesn't say it out, loud
Yeah.
himself that he's gay. Until like towards the end of the first episode, I think. But he's into making art with dolls, and he stumbles upon the good guy doll, which possesses Chucky's soul. And pretty soon, people start to die.
As they do.
Yeah. From what I've heard, this series is a continuation of the movie series, the 7 movies. So far, they've talked about things that happens in the films. If you have seen the movies, you understand what they mean, but it's not like you have to have seen the movies to understand the series. But like I said, so far it's fucking brilliant, and we're only 3 episodes in.
Ooh, nice.
So
that sounds promising.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the next episode. I was actually complaining to Tagger about it. Like, oh, for fuck's sake, why can't they just dump all of the episodes at once?
They want you to keep wanting it.
Yeah, well, I think it's aired on the USA Network, I think it's called. So they will just drop 1 episode at a time.
Yeah.
It's like a traditional TV bullshit,
That frustrating shit.
Yeah. Especially in the
year of 2021.
Yeah. It's not like it's 1991.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's everything I watched.
Well,
yeah.
We'll hear more of the reviews of the episodes later on then, I presume.
I will keep you guys updated on this show. And the new Dexter season premieres, I think, next week. Yeah, next Sunday, I think.
So many new series.
Yeah, next week. It premieres next week, I think.
Well then, I guess you're gonna talk about that series as well in the next episode.
I will drop my first impressions.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure it's gonna be one of those, like with the Chucky series, they air 1 episode at a time. They won't just dump the entire season.
Why would they?
Yeah. But I will give my first thoughts, but I won't spoil anything.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And one more thing before we roll the trailer. I'm gonna do a guest appearance on another podcast in pretty near future.
Yeah, I think you mentioned something like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna. It's actually my 3rd guest appearance on the podcast Filmfett Solo. It's a Swedish podcast made by a guy called Robin Andersson. Very nice guy. And if you understand Swedish, go and listen to his podcast. I think it's up on like iTunes and other podcast places. And we are gonna talk about a old horror movie this time around. I won't name drop it until the episode is out, but yeah, it's in the works.
Lovely. Could you say the name of the podcast one more time for the listeners?
Filmfett Solo.
Nice. Love it.
Alright, are you ready for the trailer then?
As ready as one can be.
Alright then. Here is the trailer for Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers.
Sheriff? They want you down at the cemetery.
Today in the cemetery, somebody dug up a coffin. It was a coffin of a 9-year-old girl. You've come back to us, Michael.
When are they going to realize that she is not him? She's just a child.
They know that Michael Myers is her uncle, and that she attacked her stepmother. That's why they fear her, especially on Halloween. You're afraid. You're afraid the whole thing might start to happen again. How many people did he kill last year? Have you forgotten? But you never looked into his face, did you? You never saw his eyes. You never saw that nothing, no expression, blank. Huh? My memory goes back 12 years. I prayed that he would burn in hell, but in my heart, I knew that hell would not have him. Michael Myers is outside.
The National Guard will take him to a maximum security facility, where he'll stay till the day he dies.
Never die.
Bent on finishing what he has started, Michael Myers has set his sights on murdering his traumatized niece, Jamie Lloyd. Unbeknownst to him, however, that the mute girl has developed a strange psychic connection with her demonic uncle. Now, to put an end to Michael's Halloween killing spree once and for all, the ever-resourceful Dr. Sam Loomis braces himself up for a life or death final confrontation with a masked serial murderer, where it all began, the memory-laden Myers house. That's a short snippet from one of the plot synopses on IMDb, and while I was checking out the plot synopsis, one of the synopses ends with Halloween 5 is a dark thrill ride that will scare the heck out of you. So my question to you, Zombie, is, did it scare the heck out of you?
Well, no.
It did not?
If anything, I was scared for the kittens.
Ah, yeah, yes.
But no, this was not really that scary of a movie, to be honest. Compared to the other ones that we have seen so far, at the very least. But to be honest, I don't really remember much from the fourth movie, for some reason.
I'm not surprised.
Like, almost everything, was completely gone, and Angel had to remind me what it was about. And if they didn't show how the last movie ended, I would not have remembered it at all.
Yeah, and they do that pretty infamous opening of the film with adding the police throwing down the dynamite bundle, which
Yeah.
doesn't happen in part 4.
Yeah.
It's just something extra they added to this film. But what are your thoughts about Halloween 5 then? If you didn't get scared by it, I mean.
Well, this is the point. This is the point where I would go like someone else take the mic, but considering there's only 2 of us, I'm not so like sure. It was an okay movie, but not really too interesting of a movie. Because in a way, it was very confusing with this faceless man. The other faceless man that is.
You mean the man in black?
Yeah, the man with the steel shoes. Or steel-toed shoes.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you see of him.
Yeah, well, not even the filmmakers didn't even know who he was. Or what purpose he had.
Yeah, like, in one scene, like, they show a tattoo that I think they showed Michael to have in the start.
The thorn. The thorn symbol.
Yeah, so it felt like, is that Michael? Who is this guy then? Is that also Michael? What is going on? They can't both be Michael, and it felt like they just created that character so they could set up a scenario to have the 6th movie made.
Yes, you're absolutely correct.
And it felt like so badly made because of how confusing they made that character and how confusing they made that ending because of that small tattoo. It could be that both of them have it to signify that they are somehow linked to one another, but
you haven't seen the 6th movie, right?
I have not.
Okay, you will understand when you watch part 6.
Yeah.
What the hell is up with that tattoo?
Yeah, I will most likely figure it out by then, but at the same time, it feels like in the moment, right now, when I don't, it feels a bit frustrating, and yeah.
From what I remember, they basically just came up with the Man in Black to have some sort of vehicle to set up the next film, basically.
Yeah.
But not even the filmmakers knew what they were gonna do with the character or who he was or anything. They just let's throw in a Man in Black.
It felt very much like an afterthought.
Yeah,
And I feel like this movie suffers for it because of their want to like make a 6th one, and yeah, it felt very rushed to get it out in a way, or to get him in the movie because of where he was put in which scenarios, and he was.
Well, I think if I remember correctly, Mustafa Akkad, the producer of the Halloween movies up until Halloween Resurrection, he died in 2006, I think it was. He died from injuries, which he sustained in a terrorist bombing, following a severe heart attack. But yeah, if I remember correctly, he acknowledged in, I think it was Halloween 25 Years of Terror. It's a documentary about the entire franchise up until Halloween Resurrection.
Yeah.
He acknowledged that Halloween 5, they basically just shoved it out the door. And he said that they should have waited at least 2 years before they started on part 5. Because there are so many plot points in part 5 that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff got overlooked. For example, the end scene when Michael is in the cell. In which prison do you let a murderer keep their mask on?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. It's, you know, they could have just darkened down the cell so you didn't see his face.
Yeah, and just have him not face them at all, like
Yeah.
like they did in the scene where he did unmask himself. They could have just
Yeah, and
done.
if you watch the movie in HD on Blu-ray, you
Yeah.
can clearly see his face while he's unmasked in the
Yeah,
background.
I could imagine, like, twice they like showed his face, and if you
Yeah.
have good enough resolution, yeah, there
And
it is.
up until this point in the franchise, that they were very careful to not show his face.
Yeah, it felt very.
But in this movie, they're like, ah, fuck it. It's just a Halloween sequel, whatever.
Yeah, I would even say that I prefer the third movie over this one to watch again, because like
Well, we're on the same page.
that movie was fine. It just, in my opinion, I think I mentioned it in the episode, it suffered because of its title and what it is tied to. Maybe it didn't at the time, but I feel like nowadays it suffers because of its title and what it is linked to. And it's a fine movie, and this part, Halloween 5, it feels
Part
like-
3 suffered because of the title, because people expected Michael Myers.
yeah. And in this one, you can't really use the same logic because, hey, there's Myers, and then it's a continuation from the first, second, and fourth.
Yeah.
And it just feels like, compared to those 3 predecessors, it could have worked in how they wanted to tie all of them together, but it felt like they didn't have a really clear view in what they want to do. Do they want to make Myers look more human and in contact with this child in a way, or what are they going for in the end? Like, and Loomis being like, "You're so angry, you have this rage." Like, Loomis, bro, you were about to kill this child in the 4th movie. What are you doing? And
Yeah. At the end, yeah.
yeah. I read that up. So
That scene when he's talking to Michael in the Myers, I actually like that scene.
yeah, I feel like
it feels like Loomis is getting to him.
yeah,
You know? Like Michael just starts to put down his knife, and like Loomis is talking smoothly to him, and
yeah, and he's getting so close and upfront with him, like without. He's like careful, but he doesn't look scared of him. It's just that the rest of the movie that scene is tied to.
yeah.
the
Well,
thing.
the biggest problem with the film is, like you said, it's rushed. For example, it doesn't feel like it's Halloween in the film whatsoever.
No,
It could have
like-
been in the middle of the summer.
Like, the only thing that ties it together with Halloween is them saying that it's Halloween and this, like, costume party, but you don't
Yeah.
see any Halloween decorations. You don't see kids running around with, like,
Yeah.
costumes or any stores or anything that's, like, Halloween related in the movie.
Yeah, that's something you could feel in the earlier films of
Yeah.
1, 2, and 4. You had that Halloween feeling in it.
Yeah.
This like I said, it could have taken place in the middle of fucking summer, you know.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things they overlooked, like we mentioned, the mask at the end of the film, which doesn't make any sense. You also got the two, in quotations, funny cop characters.
Yeah.
You know, the two.
And the way they were
Uh,
introduced with this like funny background sounds to them.
Yeah,
it felt
they got their own theme song. It's like Bozo the Clown, basically.
it felt like the moment I heard like, these are gonna be Joker cops, like this movie, I couldn't really take it serious with that. Like the cops are in a way very essential in the franchise because of how they try to catch Michael, they're just never there in time, and when they are, they die. But
Yeah.
and these ones are just like there for comical relief. Like, what? That feels so uncalled for in
A
this
Halloween movie.
in a Halloween movie, and with them being like the cops and the relationship this movie has had with cops in the earlier ones. It feels very out of touch with Halloween.
Yeah. Also, we got one of the most irritating characters ever included in any slasher movie as well.
Yeah,
I think you know which one I mean.
I have an idea.
Yeah, Tina.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not faulting the actress for the character.
It is just how it's written.
Oh. Yeah, the character is so fucking irritating. She gets on my tits. Jesus Christ. And then fun fact, by the way, besides Halloween H2O, which is the 7th installment in the series,
Oh.
this is the Halloween movie I've seen the most times. I don't know why.
Like the least enjoyable movie out of the franchise, and that's the most watched one. Interesting.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna be perfectly honest here. I prefer Halloween 5 over Halloween 4.
Oh.
Because I just find I can't remember if I said this on the Halloween 4 episode, because it's been a year since we last.
It's been a long time.
Since we last recorded. No, since we recorded the Halloween 4 episode. So I can't remember if I said this on that episode, but I think that part 4 is basically Halloween 1, but with a higher body count and no suspense.
Yeah.
Which makes the movie just boring. Halloween 5 is a terrible movie, and it's a terrible Halloween movie or sequel, but it got bits and pieces going for it. For example, the scene in the car when Myers is together with Tina. The first time you watch the movie, it gets pretty intense. You know, it gets pretty suspenseful because you don't know what he's gonna do. And up until this point, I think at least, in the franchise, no one has come that close to Michael without being killed.
Yeah, and even smooching the face.
Yeah.
And like
Also the pretty, or not pretty, but it's ridiculous. The chase scene with the car.
Yeah.
Michael drives in like 5 miles per hour and managed to total the car. It doesn't make any sense, but
and it
makes me laugh.
explodes. Like,
Yeah.
what was it loaded with the dynamite or something?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make any sense, but it makes me laugh, and then makes me happy. And therefore, I like the scene.
And like, I can't really comment much about the fourth one. I don't remember it. I remember every other movie except from it, which I guess in a way is pretty telling. And yeah, there's so many things and scenes that doesn't make sense in this movie. Like, how does he know how to drive? He's never.
Well, he drove in the first film as well,
Yeah, that is
and he
true.
drove in part 4 as well.
I don't know if I commented in those movies about it, but it feels like he shouldn't know how to drive. Unless
Yeah, well,
it's...
in the first film, Loomis, I can't remember what the character's name is, but it's a doctor at the asylum.
Yeah.
They talk about Michael driving,
Ah.
and the doctor asks Loomis, how the hell can he drive? I mean, it's not like they had driving lessons at the asylum.
I guess being evil...
And, yeah.
I guess being evil makes you able to just know how to drive.
Yeah. Well, Loomis says something in the lines of, well, perhaps someone gave him lessons.
Yeah. And he just
So,
remembers the fundamentals and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it felt
Well,
like just a lot of scenes in this movie is very odd, because like in the beginning you have him escape the police and it faints next to some dude that lives in
Yeah,
a
the
small
hermit,
cottage.
yeah.
The hermit.
Yeah.
And then 1 year later, like, he stayed there. What did they do? Why did he keep him? Like, what is going on? Like,
Yeah.
why? And then he kills him. Why?
It makes no fucking sense.
Like-
It would have been better if they just showed him going out of the cave,
Yeah.
down the stream, and then just vanish, and then he reappears 1 year later. It would
Yeah.
make more sense because it would add some more
Mysterium to it.
Yeah, exactly.
And if they were so adamant about showing that house, they could have just have him kill him then and there and just lived in this guy's place that he just killed, because it makes more sense in that way. Because who just houses a guy that just tried to strangle you? And the car scene, like, it is very suspenseful, but at the very same time it feels like, where was this going? Like,
Yeah.
without the police cars going, like, why was he doing the way he did it? Just driving around, stopping, and then just waiting. Like, we're just gonna wait for her to get back in the car, drive somewhere isolated, and then murder her? Like, that's the only thing. But it felt suspenseful, but at the very time, like, it was going nowhere, in a way.
Well, the whole set piece is to, well, bring suspense to the film.
Yeah.
I guess. But that car scene is one of the bits I really like with the film.
It is very
Um,
suspenseful.
Yeah.
Out of all of the things that happens in the movie, it is very...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Gotta give
then
it
you
that.
got the final chase scene between Jamie and Michael, which I think is the highlight of the film, because
Yeah.
the first time you watch the movie, you're sitting on nails. It's really fucking intense. But when you've seen the movie 50 times like I have, you just, you start to reach for your phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, the final chase scene and the when Dr. Loomis is talking to Michael, I really enjoyed those scenes.
Yeah, up till like the scene where Jamie walks up to the attic, I think was really nice.
Yeah.
Up till then, it was just, what's gonna happen? Like, is she gonna make it up, or did she just faint? And
I think the ending when Loomis finally get the drop on Michael, so to speak. The movie, it takes a turn for the worse at that point. It feels like it feels like Michael's brain took a vacation for like 30 seconds or something.
He
because
got
just
insta-nerfed.
Yeah, well, he just follows Loomis. He should have known that Loomis tried to lure him.
Yeah, because like it was very obvious that he was using the child as bait.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck was that about?
And watching the movie, he's smarter than that.
Yeah.
He has proven he's smarter than that. But
Another thing with Dr. Loomis, I don't know if you picked up on it, but I think Dr. Loomis died at the end.
yeah, I'm very unsure if he did
You
or
know,
didn't.
he's smashing Michael with the 2x4,
Yeah,
and at the end he just falls down on Michael, and you can tell that he like takes his last breath.
mm.
Funny thing, he returns in part 6.
It felt very anticlimactic to kill off Dr. Loomis's character in such a way.
Oh, you wait until part 6.
Because like in the second movie, if he was gonna die in that one, he went out with a big bang trying to
Yeah.
kill Michael like with an explosion, and this one he hits him with a board. Like
Yeah.
continuously, and like he hits him with the board and then he just gently lays down on an unconscious Michael, and it feels like that's very an undeserving death of Dr. Loomis's character and
I
what
think
he's
the
gone
guy-
through.
Yeah, I think the guy who played Michael in this movie, it was a stuntman, obviously.
Yeah.
I think Donald Pleasence broke his nose with that board
Oh no.
during that scene,
Oh,
if I
no.
remember correctly.
Poor dude.
But yeah, another thing with Dr. Loomis, it just feels like he's going through the motions throughout most of the film.
Yeah.
In part 4, he had in part 1 and 2, he's great. He's one of the best characters. In part 4, he is really good as well, and he got some of the best quotes from the entire franchise in there. But in this, it just feels like it feels like he's there just because it's a Halloween movie.
Like-
He needs to be there because Michael is there.
Yeah. It's kind of
but-
like a package deal. Like you have Michael, and then you have Loomis, who is obsessed with Michaels, and in this one you turn
Yeah.
it up to 5.
Yeah, exactly.
And it feels like
But then at the same time you got a handful of scenes where you can tell, you know, that there's a fire that turns on in Dr. Loomis' eyes, and you know he goes all in as the character. You know, Donald
Yeah.
Pleasence goes all in as the character and starts with his spiel. You know, when he like the scene when he shows his hand to Sheriff. What the fuck was his
Sheriff. Sheriff.
Meeker, I think.
Yeah.
And he says, "I prayed that he would burn in hell, but in my heart, I knew that hell would not have him."
Like his character has a pair of golden nuggets in this movie. It certainly does.
Yeah,
But then it just at the same time falls flat without those nuggets in there.
yeah. Well, you can tell that not Dr. Loomis, Donald Pleasence started to, you know, he was getting old at this
Yeah.
point, and
But he really
it,
has a love for the character, I would say.
yeah. You can tell that he enjoyed playing Dr. Loomis.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I said, he started to get old at this point.
Like you have the drive and love to play the character, but you don't necessarily have the same energy you had in
Yeah.
the first few years you did it.
Yeah. What? Well, you said earlier that you didn't that you don't remember part four. But I was gonna ask, what did you think about Danielle Harris' performance in this one? The little girl, Jamie.
Well, I did like that they made her mute in the beginning there to show like this had a severe like traumatic effect on her, and that the end was canonical because it felt like it was a bit of like a shock value thing in the first time you watched the fourth one without
Yeah.
the fifth one existing.
Mm.
That could either be like there for shock value and they will never address it again, or it will be canonical. And the fact that they went through with that with her character and just have her be this actual like traumatized kid was, I think, a good choice. But I don't know. I like and don't like it, or rather the character.
Mm. I think her performance is better
Yeah.
here than in part
Yeah.
four, because in part four she's just running around screaming for Rachel.
The,
Most of the scenes
Yeah.
she's in.
this one she actually knows that like it won't work,
Yeah.
and the fact that Rachel isn't there. But in the car scene she screams for Tina a lot instead.
Yeah, well, she's well.
But there's a
Well,
reason for it.
She's screaming more. She's screaming for Tina in this one instead of Rachel. But yeah, like I said, I think her performance is better in
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah.
Even though the script is obviously more stupid than part four.
Like
Uh,
her acting
but-
is good. It's just the script that makes it suffer.
Yeah, exactly. And Danielle Harris has, of course, went on to become a very prolific actress in the horror genre.
Yeah.
She's also in the Halloween remake of the sequel to that as well. And she's been in a ton of slasher movies.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful for her, because I think that she fits very well in the horror genre with what we see just here, where she's a child actor.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you have this. Her character is very childlike in the movie, and use very childlike logic, which is what kids do. And she's just running around doing her best to survive, and yeah, it's a great performance from the actor, that just because it feels very genuine at most points with what she's trying to convey through the character.
You were talking about the continuation from the last film as well. I think they kind of shat the bed with that. You know, they were setting up part 5 to be her as
Yeah.
the new Michael Myers, but then they just like, no, we're just kidding. Michael's back.
Yeah, it felt like a very missed opportunity.
Yeah. It would have been interesting if they made it into, that Michael spirit somehow, because she touches him at the end of part 4. If
Yeah.
they had made it so that Michael's spirit possessed Jamie or something, and
Yeah.
part 5 would take place like 15 years later or something. Which
If I feel like the cycle going all over again,
Yeah.
and like it's being a family curse in a way.
Yeah. But on
And
the other hand, if they had done it like that, it would have been a new Halloween 3. Most
Yeah.
likely.
and due to the time, I don't know how well received a female Michael Myers would have been.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know about
which
that.
is yeah. And
But on the other hand, they didn't completely shit in the bed like the Friday the 13th movies did with their last minute setups in part 4, 5, part 4 and 5. You know.
yeah, I feel like if they wanted to have Michael in this movie, they could have set it up like in for the sixth one, where you have this like, oh, she's turning into becoming Michael Myers, and in this fifth installment, she actually does manage to, as a child, by herself, kill him off, and
Yeah.
because of that, takes on the role as him being her like second victim, and I think that would have been interesting as well. Like, just in a way, him giving her the mantle, in a way, in the end of her defeating him, would have been interesting to see.
Yeah.
But as I have not watched the rest of the series, I don't know how well, or what they do with the rest of it. Like what they have planned in this one, what they did with that in the next installment.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So
the timeline of the Halloween franchise is all over the place. But when we get around to to talk about part 6, I can I can tell you more about the timelines, because otherwise I'll spoil the next film.
yeah, it's very hard to talk timelines without having
Yeah.
go into a few details.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So, what rating would you give it? Part 5.
ooh, that's a hard one. I would give it like a 4 out of 10 at the moment. That or a maybe 3, 4.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I gave part 4 a 6, but I went back and checked my notes. And like I said earlier, I think part 5 is slightly better than part 4. But as a Halloween sequel, it's terrible. And it's not a very good movie overall, even though it got some bits and pieces here and there that makes it work. But
I feel like
I rather rewatch the original part 2 and 2018 over this one any day of the week.
I just feel like you could replace Michael with someone else, and it would be pretty much the same movie.
Yeah.
In most scenes.
Yeah.
Like the Loomis scene, sure, it wouldn't work without Michael, but at the same time, like most of everything else would.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of the lack of Halloween spirit. Because of how tied it is to Halloween. Or his character is. Like, he always comes back on Halloween to kill, and it feels like this, yeah, it could have been any, like, day of the week.
Yeah.
Like, how are we supposed to know that it's Halloween without the characters physically saying it? Like, we get no, like, background clues to it. Other than, like,
well, the feeling of Halloween is absent throughout the entire film.
And I feel like, as a movie titled Halloween, it should have a Halloween feeling.
Yeah.
Other than just being another horror / movie.
Another topic that we should point out, I kind of guess, is the mask. Well, for basically each and every installment of the Myers Halloween movies, the mask basically got changed up.
Yeah.
And I know that I don't want to call all of them fanboys, but a lot of fanboys complain about the mask. I
Michael
was that
Sims.
yeah, well, was that something you hung up on, or whatever you want to call it? You know, was it something that?
I would say just a tiny bit. Like I could like let it slip, but a bit. It's just the fact that it is like cut open at the back to just be easily to take on and off. It feels like that is very counterproductive on it staying on from just that standpoint. But other than that, I don't really have much to comment on
Yeah.
about it.
Well, I don't. Besides the mask in part 6 and 7, I think don't really care about
Yeah.
it.
And I guess
I
the
mean,
I
I
guess yeah.
yeah. Yeah, no,
I,
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I just feel like the quality of the mask wasn't the best compared to the other ones that we've seen
Well,
so far.
it gets worse.
Oh no.
Another funny thing with this one, by the way, um, you know, this in this timeline, it takes place after Halloween 2, in
Yeah.
which Loomis and Michael got nearly burned to death in quotation marks.
Yeah.
Wouldn't Michael like have burn scars all over his face?
Yeah. That
Like
is
the mask should have, you know, melted into his face.
like the only thing that we see from that is Loomis and how he looks and Michael's hand. That is
Yeah.
like that looks very similar to Loomis.
Yeah.
But
Because
other-
in the scenes when you watch the movie on VHS, you can't see his face, of course.
Yeah.
But if you watch the movie on Blu-ray, you can see his face, and he just looks like an ordinary guy.
This movie was not meant for Blu-ray, simply put.
No.
It was not meant to be viewed in quality.
No.
But yeah, it feels like
And speaking of Loomis, he was standing right beside the propane tanks, or whatever the fuck
Yeah.
it was he blew up. He should have been in pieces.
it is as said, Michael and Loomis is like a package deal. Like if
Yeah.
Michael is unkillable, so is Loomis to an extent.
Yeah.
Like everyone talks about how Michael is unkillable and that you can't get him down. Like Loomis is just the good guy version of that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Like he can go to places without you noticing him and jump scares people all the time. He is unkillable, and sure he's older and gets more crippled by the injuries that he takes, but yeah, them be a package deal of immortals. That's the only way I see it.
Yeah, I agree. Well, yeah.
Like his drive to kill Michael and Michael's drive to just murder is pretty much one and the same, in a way.
Yeah. Is there anything else? Well,
I think we've talked
Mm.
pretty much about what there is to talk about.
yeah. The only thing we haven't talked about is the killings, but I mean, they're.
It's nothing
they're-
special.
No, there's really no kills in this movie that stands out.
No, and there's
Really.
like
Well, besides the asshole boyfriend, that
Yeah.
kill is pretty good when he's you
Yeah.
know using that garden tool and
Yeah. Like thinking back on it, like I think there's only like 4 on-screen killings, and the rest are like off-screen. Because I'm not sure if Tina died or not.
yeah, she died. She
Oh.
died.
Then it's 5.
Yeah, but there's really no gore There
No.
was some gore in part 4, I know.
Like there's a little bit of blood, but it's not nothing extraordinary killings in this one. Nothing that's like stands out like, ooh, that one was good.
Yeah. Yeah,
So, yeah.
Yeah, none of the killings are... No, there's 6 on-screen killings. The cop at the end, he
Yeah,
gets hung.
Yeah, right. Now that you
But
see
only...
it, right.
Yeah. But on the other hand, like we said, there's really nothing special to any of the murders in this film, really.
Like you would think that Rachel would get a more like interesting death due to her being from the earlier movie, but no, she was just there like to remind you like, oh, I'm her sister, and I was the survivor from last movie, and then I'm dead. And then all the focus goes to Tina instead, like a replacement for Rachel in a way.
Yeah.
And then no one.
They basically did the same bullshit they did in the Nightmare movies by killing off previous characters.
Yeah. And yeah, no death stands out except the boyfriend. And
Yeah.
even then, it was nothing like.
Yeah, it was very, very to the point.
Yeah, it like stands out due to how much the others don't, in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very nice kill.
Yeah, definitely. It's the best kill of the film, at least.
Yeah, especially with how they set it up to like have him drag it across the car to get a reaction.
Yeah.
First, and then using it to murder him.
Yeah.
Like
But
that.
yeah.
Nah, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah. Well, that was Halloween 5 then, I kind of guess.
Yeah.
Unless you got any last thoughts about it before we sign off.
No, I don't really have anything. And the fact that we incorporated a lot of like the trivia and background of the movie into the discussion felt very nice. Is all I can like point out.
Yeah, well, I actually don't have any background for this
Yeah.
movie.
Other than everything that you've mentioned so far.
Yeah. Well, it's a Halloween movie, and the big franchises I usually don't dig up any background because
Yeah.
there are so fucking much information out there that
Yeah.
it's pointless.
It's very old.
Yeah, well, there are tons of documentaries, books, audio commentaries.
Like,
Yeah,
think of it, and it's probably exist about one of these movies.
And it's a super well-known franchise. The latest installment premiered about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Halloween is still alive and kicking. And if anyone is interested in any background on the films, they can search it out for themselves on Google. I mean, it's pointless for me to sit talk for 5 minutes about things they can just dig up themselves.
Yeah, this franchise is not going anywhere.
No, not at the moment, at least.
Yeah.
But we are, on the other hand, playing out with Alan Howarth. I think he did the theme or the soundtrack to Halloween 4 up until Resurrection.
Ooh.
Perhaps, I'm not sure. He worked together with John Carpenter on part 4, I think. But on part 5 and onwards, it was just him, I think. And we are playing out with his Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, which is the main theme of the film.
Nice.
And the next episode is the Thanksgiving episode we're gonna do. And since we covered the terrible Thanksgiving movies already, we're gonna go with something a little bit more trashy classic. With Blood Rage from 1987. I think it's also called, or also known as, Nightmare in something Woods. I can't remember now. It's Blood Rage from 1987. So we're gonna have some gruesome slashery Thanksgiving.
Oh, nice.
Shenanigans on the next episode, and hopefully we'll be full crew by then as well.
Yeah. They will hopefully come back from the war at that point.
Exactly.
This is just one of the off chances where we were two.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen very often, so don't get used to it.
But yeah, with that being said, let's say goodbye to the good folks.
Goodbye, good people. Thanks for listening. And to not miss any future episodes, why don't you subscribe?
What Zombie said. And yeah, goodbye.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.